Hello, everyone, and welcome to the archive of Maxmillian.
It's great to be here.
We're so glad you're joining us for, well, what's going to be a very special deep dive. If you're here, it's because you're like us. You don't just want a story. You want to get under the hood and see how it all works.
Exactly. And today, we are starting our mission to decode the novel I Suffer. So they won't.
And we should probably clarify right at the top, this isn't just us, guessing or throwing out fan theories.
No, not at all. The entire archive of Maxmillian project has a pretty huge advantage. Our analysis is actually aided by the author himself, Genevieve P.
The father of Maxmillian. So when we start pulling these threads, we're doing it with the actual blueprints in hand. It's kind of the ultimate cheat sheet.
It really is. We get to analyze the source code.
Which is so cool. Now, just a quick heads up on the schedule. We're taking this one chapter at a time. The release schedule is pretty intense.
Daily update.
Daily updates, yeah. Dropping around 11 p.m. Philippine time. So if you want to follow along with us in real time, that's your deadline.
It's the best way to do it with a story this dense. You got to pause. You got to scrutinize.
And today, we are starting at the absolute beginning. Ground Zero, Volume 1, The Cycle of Regret. And specifically, the prologue, The Sins of a Father.
Chapter 027. It's a total cold start. We're basically archaeologists here digging for the first clues.
So let's start with the very first thing you see, the titles. Because they are never just, labels in stories like this. They're arguments. The novel itself is called I Suffer So They Won't.
That's a heavy, heavy statement right out of the gate.
It's so transactional.
It is. And notice the key word is suffer. It's not I fight so they won't or I win.
Right?
It's I suffer. It tells you immediately that the currency of this world is probably pain. If you want safety for someone, the price isn't just effort. It's your own misery.
It almost sounds like a critique of martyrdom, We think of sacrifice as this heroic act, but this title makes it sound like a burden. Is it noble or is it just destructive?
I think that's exactly the question. And then you stack the volume title on top of it. The Cycle of Regret.
The word cycle is doing all the work there. It implies a loop, something that just keeps happening.
Precisely. If it were just a one-off tragedy, it would be the regret. But a cycle tells us that whatever happens here in this prologue, it doesn't end here.
It's the gear that starts the machine.
It's the inciting incident for a generational loop of suffering. The sins here are going to echo.
Which brings us right to the prologue's title, The Sins of a Father. It's so direct. It frames this whole origin story not as a hero's journey, but as a crime.
It completely flips the script. Usually you start with a prophecy of hope. Here we start with a transgression against the gods. We're watching a fall from grace.
Okay, let's get into the text itself. It anchors us immediately in time, 300 years before the Black Spire War.
And this is so vital for you to grasp. To the main characters we'll eventually meet, this event is ancient history. It's like us talking about the early 1700s. It's practically myth.
So why start the story 3 centuries in the past?
Because the fallout is still radioactive. The fact that the story begins here means the consequences of this one night are still shaping the world 300 years later. This is the original sin of the setting.
Something broke that night, and it never got fixed.
Exactly.
Now, the opening line is a bit of a riddle. It says, 2 men defied the gods for the ones they loved. 2. But the whole prologue is about one guy, Gadriel.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's immediate foreshadowing. The author is setting up a duality. 2 fathers, 2 impossible choices.
And the text gives us a clear distinction. One man turned to death to bring life.
That's our guy, Gadriel.
Yeah.
He uses death magic necromancy to create life. It's an inversion of nature.
But the other one drank death to stop it. That sounds completely different, more visceral.
It does. Gadriel's act feels external, like he's forcing his will on the world. Drinking death sounds like containment, like absorbing a poison or a curse to save everyone else. He becomes the vessel.
So one guy breaks the rules of death, and the other submits to them in the most horrific way.
Yes. And then you get the line that defines this whole world's theology. Neither was ever forgiven.
That's bleak. So the gods here are just absolutists. They don't care about your motive.
Not one bit. You can save your whole family, but if you broke a cosmic rule to do it, you're damned. There's no grace in this universe. Intentions don't matter.
Okay, let's get to the scene itself. The city of Irath, a blood-soaked temple. But there's this one line that just stuck with me. Before the moon knew sorrow.
Oh, I love that line. It's so good.
What does that even mean?
I think it implies a cosmic shift. That before this night, the universe itself was more innocent. What Gadriel's about to do is so unnatural that it literally makes the moon sad. The universe looked down and lost its hope.
Wow, and standing in the middle of all this is Gadriel Salsurian, his title, the Radiant Shield.
The irony is just dripping from that title.
We need to talk about his class, though, because Paladin can mean a lot of different things. In D&D, he'd be a tank in heavy armor.
Right, but that's not what's happening here. In the Maxmillian lore, paladins are basically battle mages. They're not just swinging swords, they are conduits for mana. They channel the light. They're casters first.
Which makes his mental state so much more important. The text says the battle had ended, but inside Gadriel, a new one had begun.
It's that internal conflict. The enemy soldiers are dead, but now the real enemy is his own grief. And because he's a mage, his grief is a weapon. It's dangerous.
And then we have Velma, his wife, a healer of unmatched grace, but she's on the floor, dying, and not from a sword.
No. And this is a really critical piece of the magic system. The text says, her mana fractured.
Explain that. What is a mana fracture? It sounds awful.
Think of it like an electrical circuit. Mana is the power. Velma pushed way too much power through her system trying to heal everyone. She didn't run out of battery.
She blew the whole circuit.
She literally broke her own body by overcasting.
That's terrifying. So there's a biological hard cap on magic. You can't just keep going. You redline the engine, and it explodes.
Precisely. And that catastrophic failure? It sent her into premature labor.
And this is the gut punch. The description of the child. A child wrapped in silk. A child too small, too still, too silent.
That silence is the loudest thing in that scene.
The child, Maeve, was born alive but died moments later. And Gadriel. He was just too late.
Right, but too late is a technical term here. We have to be specific about this. Paladins in this world can resurrect the dead. It's in their toolkit.
So why was it too late for him?
Because there's a condition. The author clarified for us that resurrection only works while the soul still lingers. There's a grace period, a short window where the spirit is still attached.
But by the time he gets to her, the soul's already gone.
The train has left the station. The vessel is empty. By all logic, by the rules of his faith, he should stop.
And Velma knows this. She's lying there, broken, begging him to stop. She accepts it.
She represents the natural order. She's grieving, but she accepts reality. Gadriel represents the refusal. He's about to break the world to change one fact.
The text says the temple lights flickered. The gods turned their gaze away.
That's the world itself reacting to his intent. The gods are unplugging from him. They're saying, whatever you do next, we're not a part of it.
So he starts the ritual, and it's an escalation described in 3 steps. First, he pours in the last of his mana.
Which is already so dangerous. We just saw his wife destroy herself doing that. He's pushing himself right to that same breaking point.
Then step 2, he poured in his life force.
Okay, now he's crossing a line. He's not just using magic. He's burning his own lifespan to fuel the spell.
But it's step 3 that changes everything. He poured in something else.
Something else. That ambiguity is what makes it so horrifying. It's not mana, it's not life force, it's something forbidden. This is the moment he becomes a heretic.
And the text calls him a heretic lich after this.
That title is huge. A lich, in fantasy, is usually a wizard who puts their soul in an object to become immortal.
But that's not what Gadriel is doing. He's not trying to save himself.
No, he's subverting the whole concept. He's not seeking immortality, he's seeking to grant life. He switches his power source from light to darkness out of love, or at least desperation.
Okay, so I want to run a theory by you. If he's a lich, he needs a phylactery, right? An anchor for his soul.
Absolutely. It's Lichdom 101. It's what keeps them from truly dying.
The text doesn't mention an object. What if? What if the child is the phylactery?
That is the leading theory, and it is just. It's perfect in how horrible it is. He didn't just bring her back. He tethered his own damn soul to her body to make it work.
So Maeve is his phylactery.
He essentially cursed himself to be the undead engine that keeps her living body running.
So the ritual ends, the baby breathes, but the text is clear. She's a living hollow.
A living hollow. Which means, yeah, her heart beats, she's biologically alive. But she has no soul. The original one was already gone.
What does that even mean, functionally? Is she a zombie?
No, not undead. She grows, she learns. But a soul in this world seems to be the source of empathy, fear, emotion. Without one, she's just a highly functional biological machine.
So she isn't evil.
I don't think she can be. Evil requires malice, intent. She might just be empty.
That's almost worse. To raise a child who can look at you but can never actually feel love or joy, he created something alien.
He built a perfect survivor who is maybe incapable of actually living.
And this leads to that brutal ending, the triple rejection.
The bill comes due immediately.
First rejection, the gods did not forgive him.
Well, of course not. He's a heretic,
Yeah.
an enemy of heaven, and he's now the very thing he used to fight against.
Second rejection, Velma could not forgive him.
And let's be clear, Velma lives. She survives the fracture, so now she has to live with this man who became a monster and this soulless doll that looks like her daughter.
Every day she has to look at that child and know it's wrong, a constant reminder of what she actually lost.
That is a very specific kind of hell.
But the third rejection, that's the one that kills me. Medivh did not know how.
That line is just devastating. The passivity of it. Did not know how.
It's not that she's angry or holds a grudge.
She literally doesn't have the hardware. Forgiveness requires empathy. It's a function of the soul.
So he sacrificed his soul for her, and in doing so, he guaranteed she could never understand the sacrifice.
That's the ultimate irony of the title. He suffers, so she won't. But she can't suffer, or feel gratitude, or grief. She just is.
It's a completely hollow victory. He's damned for all time, and the person he did it for is just indifferent.
And you have to ask yourself, was that an act of love, or was it the ultimate act of selfishness? He couldn't let her go, so he wrote a new chapter for her that might be worse than death.
It sets up Medivh to be this incredible character. How do you navigate a world of gods and monsters when you literally feel nothing?
And how do you deal with a father who is a lich, who loves you with this burning fire that you can't feel at all?
So we have a lich father, a soulless daughter, and a world that despises them. And this is all just the backstory.
The cycle of regret has officially begun.
It's a heavy start, but a brilliant one. It really sets the stakes for this entire world.
And we are just getting started. If this prologue is this packed with lore, the main story is going to be a wild ride.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps our deep dive into the prologue. We have officially peeled back the first layer of I Suffer, so they won't.
Next time, we jump forward 300 years and see the legacy of this one decision.
If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to follow along with us, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're dropping these daily, and the story only gets deeper from here.
Indeed. Until then, maybe ask yourself, what would you be willing to break to save someone you love? And would it still be worth it if they could never thank you for it?
Something to think about. Until the next chapter drops, keep analyzing.
Please stop. She's already gone.
Come back to us.